Welcome back to the Half Thumb Homestead. So today we are going to hopefully repair my GE Profile oven. This is from 2005, 2006, and I'm getting a F2 code. So there's several things they say can cause an F2 code. So I've set the oven to 400 degrees and I get an F2. The most common is going to be the temp sensor back there, which we're going to change. They also tell you to check this gap here. There should be a gap here to here to allow cooling air to go inside. And then up in here, see that area back there? That's where your actual vent is. So that tube, I don't know if you can see that tube in there, it sucks the air out of the oven and shoves it up into the cabinet somewhere. But you can check that for cleanliness by sticking a mirror in here or taking your light. It's got pretty good light in there. You can also take your mirror to make sure there's nothing blocking it. And just see if I can do this here. Yep. See if it's clear, which it is. And to clean that, I would assume you would take out those 4 screws. Those 4 screws. And clean it. That's probably like a flame arrestor of some sort. So I've purchased an actual OEM temperature sensor. This guy here. I've gone to the breaker panel and shut power off to change this. They also say that your motherboard inside here could be bad. But I've watched videos where people have changed this out. Even though the temp sensor is ringing out good, that is nothing wrong with this, and they end up changing the temp sensor anyways. So we're going to go with the easiest thing first, which is the temp sensor. It is a 1/4 drive, 1/4 inch bolt that holds it in. I'm thinking I'm going to have to take out the upper heating rack as well, the heater, just because I'm not sure. I haven't done this before, so it's the first time I've done it. So obviously, since this is the first time I've done the heater, I did not cut my finger off, my thumb off doing this. And then it pulls forward. So I think if we were to take these 2 bolts out, we would get a little more slack and we'd have more room for this. Because that little cannon plug's got to come through the fiberglass insulation in there. So I'm gonna take these 2 loose. So I'm showing you how to take it apart, and I'm going to need 2 hands probably to put together, so I'll put the camera somewhere else. Probably be easier with a screwdriver or a deep socket. So those screws are different than that screw. That screw's a lot shorter. Now again, this is an F2 code. We set the oven at 400 degrees and it ends up kicking it off. So we just want to pull this forward a little bit and squeak. It's also held in with this rack up here, which I'm just trying to get it forward far enough to where I can get a little more access here with this. So I do have more access in the back since it is being held with the rack up top here. This little bracket and then this light bulb is preventing it from coming any farther forward. So we're just going to push it out of the way and we're going to try and feed this cannon plug, or the connector, up through the back here without messing up too much stuff. And it's about, well, just as long as a sensor, 6 inches long to get to that. I don't want to just yank it out of there. All right, so taking the upper rack loose didn't help a bit. This cable is really short. I don't think they had any extra wire at GE this week when they did this, when they put this in. So this is going to be the issue here. I don't want to pull too hard because I don't want to damage the oven in the back. But trying to figure out a way to get that guy to release and hold it at the same time is going to be real difficult. So I'm going to get a pair of needle nose pliers to hold it so I can release it and then connect the new one. Now I'm going to try and use this very small pair of needle nose just to hold the cannon plug back there and bring it forward enough to hold it so I can take the wires loose without losing the plug in the back. So again, I'm not going to smoke it down because I don't want to damage that plug. So it seems to be holding it. I'm going to have to figure out which way to squeeze this guy here. So I'm just holding it with my thumb and pushing down. I'm going to take the new one and connect it here. So let's do this. Plugs are exactly the same. That's good. There we go, it's connected. So then we can release it. And then we got to feed this 6 inches of cable back into the back. Now, when this was installed, I don't remember if that, oh, so there's the indentation of the nut bolt that was on there. So we're going to put it in the same way. We're going to make sure that the adjustable is down, and we're just going to put all that wire in the back there. I'm going to put it on like so, and that should be exactly the same way the other one was on. Don't be laughing at my thumb. This is how I do everything, you know. I'm a mechanic by trade. All right, so that sucker's in there now. And because we took these other bolts out, let me tighten this guy up here. We're going to make sure that it is pretty much all the way to the top. Bend it up a little bit. If you look at that one, it is bent up a little bit. So if it sits flush, it's up probably 2 degrees. So I made sure that one is the same way. It doesn't have a tab going up top. I'm going to make sure that the other bolts are tight because I did loosen them up, and they are. And we'll make sure this is all the way at the top. And they have it when it's installed that the metal piece here completely covers the opening back there. See, the opening is partially exposed right there. So I'm going to just give it a little bit of loose here. I'm going to hold it over and tighten it up. Hopefully. There we go. Now we'll turn the oven on, set it at 400 degrees, and see if we get an F2. Hopefully, we won't. Hoping that's the problem. Again, the video I've watched, they owned that out, it was good. They changed the motherboard, it was still failing. Then they ended up changing the sensor. So I'm gonna go out to the garage, put the breaker back on, and then start the oven. Okay, the oven is started at 400 degrees. And let's see if we get our code. Meanwhile, we'll set the clock. It's 3:06 now. Very simple. We're hitting about 310 degrees. Here's the tools I used today. The sensor itself, and all the stuff I'll link below. 1/4" drive. This is actually a snap-on half deep. These you can get at either they're a rack, tool rack, socket rack. You can get this at Lowe's, or you can buy them on Amazon. I'll link them down below. They're 1/4 release, so if you have the socket on here, it won't fall off. These are actually really good. Mirror, little ratchet, some other tools. So that's stuff I used. Again, I'll be in the link below the description. Don't forget to like and subscribe. Pushing 350 here. It has reached 400 degrees, so the sensor appears to fix it. So what I'll do is I'll shut it down and then have somebody make cookies later, just to make sure it works. It continues working. Again, temp sensor in the back. Check your vent first to make sure you're venting, which I can feel the heat here. Temp sensor is 20 bucks. I didn't even look to see how much the control panel was. It's probably a couple $100. And if the temp sensor doesn't fix it, then more than likely it's a control panel. And if that doesn't fix it, you got a wiring issue. And then the whole oven has to come out. So any questions, comment below. Like and subscribe. Check the description for all the tools. Thanks for watching. Have fun out.